Hello, friends. How are you all? It's been a while, almost many months. I will continue my podcast again, and this time, this podcast you might be listening in the YouTube also. My regular audience who are watching the life in Japan. So, in this podcast, let me address and discuss to you about the living expenses in Japan. I have tried to share in the video, but maybe in the audio, maybe you can listen when you're traveling or when you're walking around. So the living expenses, how much it will be as a student or maybe as a normal person with the minimum single person, maybe not the family. So my experiences I'll be sharing in this podcast. You can follow me until the end. And yeah, so I'm actually living in Japan, the North Japan, Hokkaido. It's in Sapporo. If you are not known, the first time listeners. So the Hokkaido, North Japan is like similar to South Japan. The not the Tokyo or Osaka. It's a little bit small town, and it's a little less expensive. What we people say. So what is the living cost? So basically the rent, the basic rent will be there, and on the top of basic rent you will have monthly the charges, the administration charges, and then some fixed minor water charges and other rents. So basically it will be the basic cost, that is 33 or 35 for my case. It may be a little more, plus utilities will be based on the usage, that is the electricity or the gas, how much you are using, and the room heater in the winter, especially this is Hokkaido, it's very heavy snowing, so the room heater costs. So I'll be spending for all these expenses, plus the food. I'm abroad, so I have some food restrictions, and so I need to cook and I need to eat outside. It's only some specific foods. So these are all my expenses. Apart from this, my travel expense sometimes, and sometimes I may need to buy seasonally the goods, the clothes, because the winter is extreme, summer is again a little cold, like different clothes, the thinner layers. So we need to buy some things once in a while. So those things. Additionally, I'll buy some random stuff and random electronics. So those things, my expenses. So my minimum basic expense would be like 35 to 36 the room rent plus utilities. Total it comes to be 41 and 42, 43 sometimes, and sometimes it is 50. So on an average I would take it to 45 for room rent, and all these utilities cost 45, including winter time, summer time. If you average out, it will come around 45. And then the food cost, the eating cost is a major factor for all of you, right? Even anyone listening for general knowledge also, how much is cost for food? It's crazy. It's basically per week it will be spent at least 10,000 yen, Japanese yen, that is almost like every day 1000 2000 minimum, 1500 minimum, unless you eat very bare minimum food. So it's like almost 10,000 per 1 week, 4 weeks, 40,000 minimum it will go. Unless you are cooking, like I'm saying, I'll cook sometimes. So if I cook, I'll be spending, let's say, a little lesser. And if I cook regularly, I'll spend even lesser. Let's say another 5 10,000. But it, my friends, we are chit chatting. It's like on an average, it will be the same expense, right? So they say, so I don't see a lot of difference. My friend used to argue with me, and it's kind of logical when we check the overall expense. So maybe it is same. So 30 to 40,000, maybe 35,000 minimum or 30,000 minimum. Some people say it's 20,000. Those completely optimize the food and cooking, but still you say 5 to 10,000, maybe 20,000 yen. So okay, let's keep 45 plus the food cost another 35 to 40, let's say 85. So additional expenses, let's say you're paying the rental cost, the initial cost. There will be some fixed deposit and additional deposits for the house, the caution deposit. So if you split over the 2 years contract, it will come per month around 2 to 3,000 or something like 2,000. Additionally, the internet cost and some 5,000, 3,000, different based on the data you use. So this will cost you around another 10,000 for the traveling related, and 10,000 for this kind of related. So 80 plus 10, another 100,000. So 90,000 to 100,000 is easily doable. That's what we recently discussed, even for self-funded scholars. So what about this the stipend? Stipend, we usually get the regular scholars 145 and 148, and the president fellowship people get around 100,000. That is the special scholarship, and JASO gives you 80,000 for some people. Some people regular is 40,000 yen. So Plus the part-timers, if you work a bit tricky, if you can adjust your schedule, you can work until 100,000 yen you can earn, like 20 hours per week, 25 hours per week, like that. You can earn 100,000 easily. If you have Japanese skill, you can earn more with less time. So if you can earn around 80,000 to 100,000, and an average 70,000, let's assume. So you can, so 100,000 gone for living, and you can get another 70 to 40. So let's say if you don't have scholarship, so whether you can survive, so you will get, if you work, you need to work very effectively and manage 25 hours, then you can get 100,000 easily. Then 70 to 80,000, and still you don't have a lot of money to buy something, or maybe wear different stylish, traveling and food, different restaurants. So it's a little challenging, right? So this is Hokkaido and Sapporo I'm talking. So my friends living in Tokyo and Osaka, the minimum cost, the room cost itself, the rental cost goes almost like way higher to 110, 120, the base cost, 100,000 minimum for the house. There also, if you go outskirts, the people say it is around 40 to 60,000. So that is somehow you go far and come in that subway. Many people do that to avoid the expense and the travel. They use the subway, the trains. So that is one way you can find similar cost in Tokyo, Osaka also sometimes, if you are lucky. And for me, the outskirts, it's a little cheaper, and still it's around not so much, five, another 5,000 you may find difference. And yeah, that's a living cost. And the additional food cost and all, it is similar in Tokyo, Osaka, Hiroshima, the supermarkets. I went to the exports place, like the complete exports, the vegetables and sorry, onions exports. It's the highest export city, Kitami in Hokkaido, where I found that expenses, it is like same, even though they are producing a lot of onions. I thought it's cheaper there from directly from the market, but it was not like that. It is so expensive. So it happens. So it is not like the cheaper, the Japanese, the market style is like that. So it, even though it is in a particular place where the resource is very nearby, still they have the same living cost, the monthly cost. So that's what my observation and my experience. So if you are curious about living in Japan, or studying in Japan, or even for traveling, this is the cost. And if you want to ask me about the public transport expenses, so it is not so expensive, if you ask me in one way. But another way, it may be expensive if you end up using taxi. It is so expensive. The buses are okay, and the trains are okay, not so expensive. And the people use often cycles here. So cycles, the traffic rules are very safe, so people use cycles. So cycles cost, yeah, I forgot, in the monthly cost, the cycles bill, if you buy the new bike, the bill, if you spend over 2 years, if you split, it will come another 2 3,000 in your monthly bill. So it's like that. I did a lot of research when I counted these expenses. I did for 1 year almost. I recorded every expense, including my chocolate, biscuits, all these expenses, water also. And then I checked, it is the average this much. I don't have a lot of option to save. I mean, if I do all this thing also, I don't save a lot of money, so I end up not to verify again. It's like on an average, I found the expense, it is the same. So I hope it helped. So let's catch up with another podcast. I'll be keep talking with you now. I got my tools of recording very easily with mic and all. I hope it is adding value to you, and your interest in Japan will make further interesting by listening all these updates. So let's stay tuned. Thank you for watching and supporting. Please watch in YouTube if you like to. You can listen in YouTube, or else you can listen in podcast. All its podcast is distributed all over. I think you can watch any platform. Nimble Prerana, it's a name. So thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye. Greetings from Japan, Hokkaido.